And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the green Protoss player. The green Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is from land of Germany, Jumy. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. Here we go. We have our Shameless, we have our Jumy, we have our PvP, and we'll see how our players do. Indulge. We shall see. Again, we saw how aggressive Jumy was against Luciano, and I'll be honest, he's known for his aggression. Jumy, he's known for being a little more chaotic, less standard, less macro-oriented, and he's found a lot of success as a result. If you've been following the trajectory of Jumy over the past 6 months, or I would even say over the past 3 months even, in more recent history, Jumy has been popping off. It's been insane to see the growth and the results of Jumy throughout the course of November, December, January, and now February as well. It's been crazy to see him bring down bigger and bigger names. What was it, a couple of days ago during the Woody TV Monday where he accidentally beat Shin? He like accidentally beat Shin and knocked him out of the tournament. True. Likewise, popping off against Solar, popping off against Rogue. Those are different matchups, to be fair, PvZ. But likewise, his PvP isn't too shabby either. So far, 2-gate. 2-gate opener out of Jumy. Likewise, we do have Shameless opening up 2-gate as well. Mirrored builds. Right now, both players are looking for each other's second pylon. We have the first pylon here at the ramp. Second pylon is... ooh. Hidden for Jumy. He does hide the second pylon. Shameless, his is in the main base, and Jumy does confirm, assuming he probe scouts. So he's about to confirm. And Shameless might overreact as a result. Shameless, he's looking for the pylon. He knows it isn't there. We know that it's a fake proxy pylon, but for what Shameless knows, it could be real. And considering Jumy's reputation of being aggressive, I mean, again, I wouldn't blame him if he does overreact and overrespond. So far, it is going to be a Stalker into Sentry. We do have a standard opener out of Shameless. With this, he can, of course, hallucination scout, and he is still looking for that pylon. You know, Jumy confirms the opener, sees both gateways, pulls away, does pull back. Here comes that hallucination. And Shameless looks like he will expand before his tech. So Shameless, he calls Jumy's bluff, doesn't believe it, and will expand. Likewise, hallucination dives in, does get eyes on another pylon, and should confirm the expansion as well. Seeing the third base, seeing the natural expansion should confirm to Shameless that everything's looking normal. Oh, he finds it. He finds the pylon as well. Yeah, big scout here for Shameless. He scouts the expansion. He finds the pylon. Who is that? I've never. Was that Stedman? I've never heard that announcer before. Is that who that was? Was that Stedman? It's the Ghost. Oh, I've never heard anyone use that announcer before. That's crazy. Okay, there you go. We got a first for Jumy. First Ghost announcer. Okay, let's go. In general, it's quite rare for, as that FC Duche into main base. Getting one probe so far, just the one. Oh, getting two. But in general, it's quite rare for players to have to actually use announcers. Like the most common one is Diva. There's a lot of players that use Diva. There's a couple of players that use Announcer Park. True, they use Announcer Park. I know a couple. I know Australia uses Wyra, for example. Recently, it was Inexorable and Jumy that were using Total Biscuit. But you don't often get other. We have a couple of players that play with Abathur. True, Abathur. He's a little bit more common, but not much more than that. Never heard the Ghost one before. And likewise, I've never heard anyone use Stedman. I'm assuming he is an announcer. I don't know. No for certain. Appreciate it. From here, Jumy claiming his third. My apologies, going for a Blink-based opener. So getting into Twilight Council into Blink. Likewise, so is Shameless. So both players taking in the same directions. But what's important here is that Jumy, he expanded off of 2 gates. 2-gate opener into a third base. Very greedy here by Jumy. Shameless, he delays his third in favor of extra gateways. How many? That's going to be a 4-gate setup. 4 Gapling Stalker. Very aggressive by Shameless. This is looking a little bit like a 2-base all-in. Yep, here comes a Prism. Shameless is going to commit. So Shameless, he has 2 extra gateways, so he has extra warp-ins. He can and should have a larger army compared to Jumy, and he can overwhelm. Jumy, has he survived this, he has the defender's advantage. He has defensive warp-ins, he has potentially shield batteries as well. Robo's on the way, we can make it immortal, but Jumy's going to be up against the wall. Jumy, he is scouting, he is looking for an expansion. He confirms there is none. He has an army here towards the top side, he has an army here towards the south as well. He confirms there is no nexus, and he needs to take this seriously. Jumy bleeds out a Stalker. Stalker goes down. Sentries get caught. Massive losses for Jumy. Losing both Sentries and a Stalker. Back at home, shield batteries are on the way. He knows what's coming. He's seen enough. Jumy has seen enough. He does shade in between the bases. Not bad, gets 8 probe kills. But here comes the 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in has arrived. And Jumy is in trouble. He's trying to build up. Looking at the units tab here. Jumy, he's down 3 Stalkers. Soon to be down even more. Jumy gets supply blocked. Immortal's on the way. He needs the Immortal. And without it, Jumy, he cannot hold on. Shield battery coming into play. Does help. Does assist. But the shield battery is going to go down. And the Immortal looks like it will pop out. It's going to be close. The pilot. Oh my god, it goes for the Robo. Immortal will pop just barely in time. But it's on its own. Yeah, boys are being pulled. Jumy's up against the wall. The Immortal is going to be targeted down. Massive pickoff. Jumy getting a bit of concave though. Does push in. Jumy, he can afford to lose some probes. And Jumy's holding. Jumy, he's barely holding on. Snipes a Prism. War Prism goes down. Stalkers as well. And Jumy, he will survive. No more reinforcements. Jumy, he has 39 workers. And he is making 3 probes at a time. He still maintains a probe lead. And he will exceed that as well. So he has the greater economy. He survived. Shameless, he was all in. And expanding from here is not really an option. As Shameless, he's rebuilding that War Prism. Rebuilding that Prism. Building back up. Jumy, the longer this goes on, the better it is for the green Protoss. And Shameless, he's that much more all in. How much more all in? Moving out. More models are building up. Shield batteries. We have charge on the way as well. Shameless. Moving in. Here comes the second wave, the second all in. But this time, Jumy has an equivalent Stalker count. And he has defensive advantage. He has a concave. Has a greater concave. It does pull back to the shield battery. Shield, there's 2 of them. Shield batteries, they help support. And Jumy, he should hold here. Like, he should not be broken. Especially with Immortal reinforcements. And Jumy, he weathered the storm. He survived the all-in. GG gets called. And Jumy will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Impressive defense there by Jumy. Again, he was able to finish up his shield batteries just in time. He made use of them in the defense. He was able to barely get that Immortal as well. Remember, the Immortal popped out just as the Robo was falling, and he was also able to pull the boys, able to buffer, able to support himself. Again, he could afford to lose some workers, and he got away with it. Jumy, he held. GG. GG, well played. And that leads us here into game number 2. We'll see if Shameless can force the ace match, or if Jumy will take the series. The pressure is on. Personally, I would love to see an ace match. I would love to see a back and forth between these 2 players, but it comes down to Shameless. Comes down to our Protoss. One of our many. Oh, might have to rebuild. Might have to remake. Shameless did load in as Terran. I don't think that's intentional. I'll be honest. I don't... Oh. Yeah. That's not intentional. We'll have to remake. Yo, shout out to Slow Joe 2001 in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for the support for 6 months. Half a year of support. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Gracias. Gracias. So we're getting into our next game. Cool. This time with the correct races. Shameless did accidentally load in as Terran, so we'll remake. And we'll see where the series takes us. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the green Protoss player leading the series 1-0 from the land of Germany, representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy down in the series, barely not able to break Jumy with that 2-base all-in. We'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Shameless. We go. Stone the Dominion Ghost awarded for completing 10th anniversary campaign achievements. Oh, there you go. There you go. But here we go, Shameless. It's time to get juiced up. It's time to get juiced up. Here we go again. It's his known Shameless. He does love his juice spray. He's hydrating. He's getting ready. Of course, last game, Jumy, he faked a proxy pylon. This time, do we throw down a real one? We have both players though setting up on the low ground. Now, welcome one and all to Ultra Love. Ultra Love has a unique feature. That unique feature, a ramp. A ramp is coming into the natural. Because of this ramp, because of this one feature, it makes it viable and it makes it standard to open up with a low ground expand. Gate into, Nexus, greedy build here by Jumy. I was gonna say it means gate into Cybercore, into Stargate, then into a Nexus, but an economic opener nonetheless. Jumy, he cuts corners. He does cut corners. Shameless going for a standard opener. Again, gateway into Cybercore, then the expansion, and Shameless, he scouts. He scouts, he confirms, he sees how greedy Jumy's being. How does he respond? Now, Shameless, he could try to go for a proxy and respond with an all-in, otherwise he could play from behind. And the problem is that Jumy, he's here to pylon block. That's the problem. Jumy, he's in position. He's ready to block that expansion. Zelda's on the way to deny the pylon. And Jumy's out there's that pylon, speaking of. And there it is. He does force a Stargate before expanding. Probe is still around. He could throw down a second pylon, but does pull away. Jumy backs off. He's content with his damage. Jumy will maintain an economic advantage over Shameless. Shameless, the pressure's on to get some counter damage with that Oracle. So it should be Stargate into Oracle, into harassment across the map. It's going to be on Jumy to survive and to defend and to maintain the lead. Ooh, Shameless. Hey, comes out on top. Let's go, dog. Never mind. Oh, no. The sprays, these zoomers. Aye. As they do trade 1 for 1. There we go. There it is. Oracle is on the way, moving out across the map. And we'll see if Jumy can survive this. He does have 1 shield battery in the main base. Lag has a 2nd shield battery in the natural, so that means that 1 Oracle is not enough to do damage. But Shameless, he arrives with the rest of his army. Does arrive. Shades into the main. Shades into the main base. He can at 2 short probes, but the shield battery does complicate things. So he is zoned away. Now that I think about Jumy and Shameless playing 2v2 together, more drama. True. To be fair, Jumy, he plays 2v2 with a lot of players. Like, he plays 2v2 with Shameless, with Young Yaka, with Eva. Plays around with everyone. No. Who hasn't played 2v2 with Jumy? True. Shameless, he does arrive with a 2nd Oracle. Now with 2 Oracles, he can one-shot probes. It does mean that a shield battery is not enough to really maintain a base, but that's why there are Stalkers. There's Stalkers in position. They zone away the Oracles. They do rotate over towards the main. Hallucinated Stalkers do actually force him back. Okay, they scare Shameless into the corner of the map. Nice moves here by Jumy. Oh, Shameless is pinned. He could even just focus on the sentry here, but he's respecting those Stalkers. Shameless is like, how the hell do you have so many Stalkers right now? Like, what's going on? It's crazy. And Jumy defends. Jumy does defend. Rushing into a 3rd base. I'm getting similar vibes here to game number 1. Jumy, he had a faster natural, now faster 3rd. He still maintains a greater economy. Shameless, where do we go from here? Where do we go? He has Blink on the way. Do you see what I see? I see 3 gates down. I see a 4th gateway on the way. This is, actually, is expanding. I was going to say this is the same build, and it is. It is 4-gate Blink, but Shameless expands first. So there's going to be more economic variation here by Shameless. Has excess gateways, but will expand. Take the expansion. Jumy now going for his own gateway setup. Into Forge, into +1. And unlike the previous game, we are gearing up towards a longer game state, towards the mid-game. Getting into the mid-game, getting into 3-base saturation, into Stalker versus Stalker. Shameless still looking for a way in. Doesn't find one. We go. Jumy does try to hunt down those oracles. Alas, they do escape. Shameless, he has the high ground. Oh, despite that, he's actually down in Stalkers. Does warp in, does reinforce. Bold positioning here by Jumy, as he shouldn't stick around. Does get another probe. Does get 2. But Jumy should be forced back here. He is forced away. Gets 3 workers, pulls back. Decent trades here by Jumy. He does lose 2 Stalkers in the process. Going back in. Gets a pylon. And once again should pull away. But shouldn't commit, losing another Stalker, losing 2 more Stalkers. These are rough losses for Jumy. Yeah, 3, 4 Stalkers going down, 5 Stalkers even. Jumy getting punished. At the same time, one Adept shades in, but there's a shield battery. Adept does still find some damage. Jumy getting a 4th. So Jumy does have the better economy, that is true, but that was a worse fight. That was a worse trade. Jumy, he does fall behind in Stalker count. Has to rebuild. So a bit of a give and take. Stasis traps being thrown down. Stalker moving out. Shameless, can he bait Jumy into these stasis traps? That's the goal. There's the plan. Oh, pushes into a concave. Oh no, I'm so weak. Oh no, oh he sees. Yo, he's crazy. Jumy baits out the stasis. But does he see the other stasis trap though? That's the question. Does he know? Does he notice? More importantly. Again, for those that are curious, the stasis trap is a shimmer on the ground. It's actually quite similar to seeing an observer, for example. You can notice a shimmer. Say, oh my god, Jumy, he does not notice the last one. Yeah, brutal stasis pops off. As Shameless, he can take this fight. Yeah, he can and he will. Takes down the zealots. Jumy, he cannot take the fight, not anymore. He has to fall back, and he might just be overwhelmed. This might be the breaking point. As stasis is running out. Jumy, he's holding on. Yeah, does hold on. There's another stasis behind this. Jumy needs to be careful. Stasis once again. Triggered on these zealots. Prism gets caught out. Shameless is holding his own. And now both players are on a 4-base economy. 4 bases with players. Both players have +1. Jumy, he does go right down mid. He avoids the main army. He's going for the kill, and he can always recall. Dives right into the natural. Shameless out of position. Mineral line's going down. Jumy going further back into the main. It does leave the zealots behind. Mineral line is going down. Those zealots are wreaking havoc. Oh my god, they get 16 probes. They get 16 workers. Jumy blinks down to the low ground into the 3rd. Leaves a couple stalkers behind. Gets 20 worker kills. But this also means that Jumy, he won't recall. But he does catch the oracles. Oh my god. Takes out both oracles. No more stasis. Not again. And Jumy, he cripples the economy. 21 worker kills. He's still not done. 22. 23. 24. Up. No, that's Titan Stalker. Never mind. There we go. 23 probe kills. And barely 24 towards the end. Stasis traps are expiring. Remember, no more oracles left for Shameless, so he's down in oracles, down in economy, down to just his stalkers. Now, Shameless, he does maintain a stalker lead. That is true. That's the downside here of that run by Jumy. He traded his army for economic damage, and that means that Shameless has a larger force to work with, at least a larger stalker force. But as time goes on, Jumy's replenishing that army with the greater economy, so Shameless has to push. He has to push here and now, otherwise Jumy is going to overwhelm. I mean, he already has a supply lead. A lot of the supplies in Zealots. Shameless could try to do the same and try to dive into the natural and recall, but the Observer does see this. The Observer sees everything. Jumy, he responds. Shameless pushing in between the bases. Picking up a couple of Zealots, not bad. Does pick up some Zealots. Trades against the army. Oh! Falling back. So far, these are nice moves here by Shameless. He's trading well for himself, but now he's bleeding out Stalkers. Stalkers are falling. Oh no! Ah, leave some Stalkers behind. Brutal losses here for Shameless. Brutal losses. He's racing back. Trying to. Turns back around. Getting caught out. And Shameless, he has to make a stand. It's not going to be pretty. Zealots, they swarm in. Prism is left behind, is exposed, and GG gets called. Good luck in the next round. And Jumy will take the series at 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. Jumy does claim the series. Really confident play out of Jumy is what I will say. Jumy, as a reminder, this game he went for a very fast natural into a fast third base. He maintained a better economy. We saw something similar in game 1 where we also rushed into a fast third. So he was always just up a base, up in expansion, up in workers, up in economy, and took some really big risks when it came to his army movement as well. When it came to attacking, counterattacking, getting to mineral lines. In the end, did benefit Jumy, and Jumy did take it. GG. GG well played. Jumy, he will claim the series. And the question becomes, who's up next? Also, my apologies. I do now realize that I didn't quite have predictions open for that last series. I just thought I did. So my apologies there. My bad, my bad. As we get ready for our next series, as we switch our scenes over and catch up on the brackets.